Good evening. In previous session, we have seen some of the methods. Okay, some of the methods that will be applied on your directories. So now, in today's session, we are going to see some more methods that are going to be applied on the directories. Okay, so let us see what are the methods we have seen in previous session. Once briefly, I will explain about those things, those methods. Okay, first method is we have seen about get current working directory. First method is get current working directory, get CWD. Okay, so if you are going to use this particular method, you are going to get current working directory. Wait for 1 minute.
This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening. In previous session, we have seen the concept of directories. In directories, we have seen only few methods. In today's session, we are going to see about some more methods of directories that can be applied on the directories. So let us briefly see about the methods that we have seen in previous session. So first method that we have seen in previous session about the directories is get CWD. That is nothing but what? Get current working directory. So if you are going to apply this method, we are going to get current working directory where we are going to work. So all these methods are present in OS module. Okay. Next, if you want to change the directory, we are going to have the method called as chdir. In this, I have to write a new directory path. That means if you want to change the directory, I have to use a method called as chdir or a function called as chdir. If you want to create a directory, then we have to apply a function called as mkdir, and inside this mkdir we have to give some name of that particular directory. If you want to create a subdirectory, for that also we can use this mkdir only, but we have to pass what? Subdirectory address also we have to pass. For example, if I want to create a subfolder inside a Shiva folder, Shiva directory, then I have to write in this way. Compulsory the Shiva has to be present before only. If the Shiva is not available, we are going to get an error. Next, if you want to create a group of subdirectories, so we are having make dirs. That means group of subdirectories is nothing but. So first I have created some Shiva. Inside that I am having some Ram. Inside that I am having some Prasad. Inside that I am having something. In this way, if you want to create recursively, if you want to create the directories, then we have to go for a function called as make directories. That is nothing but mkdirs. So it is used to what? It is used to create a directories recursively. Okay. Next, we are going to have a remove method. So remove method is for what? Remove method is for deleting the file or removing the file. Okay. Now we are talking about directories. So for removing the directory, so for making the directory, what we are going to do? For creating directory, we are going to write mkdir. For removing the directory, what we have to write? rmdir. Okay, whatever the directory name we have to remove, that has to be written here. Okay. Next, and we have seen about remove directories also. Remove, sorry, 1 minute. Okay. So remove directories, DARS. So here I have to write those addresses, Shiva / Ram and so on. Here whatever the directories you want to remove, you have to write here. So this is about the previous session methods, and also we have seen one important method. So this method cannot be deleted if the directory is non-empty. But to delete the non-empty directory also, we are having one more method called as rmtree. Method name is what? Rmtree, or function name is what? Rmtree. It is present inside a module called as shuttle. Okay, shuttle, we can call it as shuttle. So if we want to remove a directory, if it is non-empty also, then we have to go for this rmtree function. This is present in which module? It is present in shuttle module. So these are the methods we have, these are the functions we have seen in previous session. So in today's session, let us see remaining methods. So let us see the remaining methods that can be applied on your directories. So first method that can be now Next method is what? Renaming a directory. That means already if you are having any directory, if you want to rename that directory, I am having a function called as rename. Rename is a method. Okay, rename is a function that can rename a directory or a file. If you want to rename a directory, we can rename, or if you want to rename the file also by using this rename, I can pass the a new name for that particular directory. How to do that? So it is available in our OS module only. So OS dot rename of what you want to rename, which directory you want to rename. Here I want to rename old directory with which name? New name. In this way we can write. So what happens here? The directory named as old will be renamed as new. Next, if I want to rename the file, so what happens here? Also same thing. So first I have to pass what? Old.txt. Old name I have to pass. And here what is the new name you have to pass? So what is the name we have to pass here? Whatever the name you want to rename for that particular old file, we have to pass it with a new name here. This is what? Existing name. Existing. This is what? New name. So by using rename concept, we can rename the particular folder. Sorry, we can say what? Directory, or we can do a rename for our files also. So this is the concept of renaming the files and folders. So let us see the example for this one. So just I will take one module here. So already here RAM is there. A file is called as RAM, and a module, a directory called as Shiva is there. I want to rename them. So now just I will import OS module here. Okay, I'm going to import OS module. So in OS, I'm having a function called as rename. What I want to rename? First, I will rename the Shiva folder. Shiva, as I want to replace with a rename that Shiva as a RAM. So observe carefully here. The name of this one is what? The directory name is Shiva. So now see, I will try to change that. But what happens here? It is not having a correct path. Observe that. 1 minute. Just I will create a path here. That means what? Directory. So now, what is the current working directory? It is available now. So now I am going to import OS, and after that I will execute this statement. Okay, now what happens? The statement is executed. That means Shiva is renamed as Ram. Now observe the case. What happens here? Shiva is replaced as Ram. Now Ram file is there. I want to replace or rename ram.txt ram.txt as shiva.txt. Okay, shiva.txt. Now observe the file. See what happens here. Shiva.txt is a ram.txt is renamed as shiva.txt. In this way, we can rename the file and directory in our Python. Next one, next method, let us see. That is nothing but if you want to see the content of the directory, that means what is meant by content of the directory? List of directory. That means what? If you want to see the contents of the any specified directory, that is nothing but subfiles, sorry, files and also subdirectories we can see. So for seeing that, I am having a method called as list dir. This is the function I am going to have in our OS. So if I am going to apply this one, it is going to give me all the contents of that particular directory. Here what I have to write? Here I have to write the directory name. Directory name. So here already I am having what? I am having one directory called as RAM. I am having. Inside this what? We are having some 5 files and RAM. Inside RAM I am having one more RAM. Inside RAM I am having sub here, and many other subfolders are there, and some files are there directly inside a RAM folder. Let us see if I apply this list directories. Let us see what will be the output of this one. So os dot list. What I want to list from directory, which directory? That name I have to give here. So if you want to get from the current directory, I have to keep dot. Observe carefully. I have to keep what? Dot. So first I will change the directory name and I will keep dot here, because in my desktop there may be many things may be there. So I don't want to keep this one. I want to change my directory. For that changing the directory, yesterday we have seen one method. that is chdir. So by first I will show you by taking one okay, by one directory, that is RAM. So see in RAM what we are having. So here in desktop what we are having, RAM folder. Let us go to RAM. In RAM what we are having, observe here carefully. In RAM what we are having, first one difference.dx we are having, next m2.py, next random pass, sample, test.py, and also I'm having what, underscore underscore pycatchy, and also RAM. So we got what, all these things. So already RAM here we got it, and here underscore underscore pycatchy is created. That means whatever the contents we are having inside a specified directory, we are going to get it. Okay, if I want to get the files of subdirectories also, okay, then I have to go to one more function called as walk function. So before going to see that what function, just I will type here, I will change my directory to another location, that is chdir, change directory to RAM. I want to change my directory to RAM. So where RAM is, in this one. So I'm changing my directory to RAM. Observe here. So see now what happens, my current working directory is what, I want to check that current working directory. Okay, now observe, in OS module we are having os.cw. See what is the current working directory now, C colon user Saujiamu desktop and RAM. Now just I want to see same output we are going to get, but I can also apply what, dot. If I apply dot, what happens, same output we are going to get. So dot indicates current working directory. So what, dot indicates current working directory. In that directory what we are having, py underscore catchy. Okay, so if I want to get the contents of py underscore catchy underscore underscore py catchy underscore underscore, if I press enter, what happens, there is only one file called as m1 dot c python hyphen 38 dot pyc is there. So that file is printed. So if I am going to write dot, it indicates what, it indicates current working directory. So now let us go to next function, that is what, walk function. So what is the use of walk function? Walk function is used to print the files of subdirectories also. Walk means what, walk through all the subdirectories. So to remember this one, just remember the point that walk function is walking through all the subdirectories to get the contents of all subdirectories. Okay, right. Now I will show you, if I apply walk, what happens. So before going to see that, there are some parameters or arguments are there in walk. Let us see that one now. So what are the parameters that are available for walk function? So this walk is present in a module called as OS module. So here first one, top down, from which order we have to do, top down equal to true. Okay, next on error, by default it is none. Okay, and we are having some follow links, follow, otherwise follow links equal to false. Okay, so these are the parameters we are having in our walk function. Okay, so here this walk function is going to give me a iterator object. Iterator means what, in that iterator object we are having group of things will be there. Okay, group of elements can be there. It may be a group of integers, or it may be group of anything, group can be there inside a iterator object. So in our concept, in our walk, it is going to return what, iterator object whose contents can be displayed by using a for loop. Okay, by using for loop we can print the contents of this iterator object. Now let us see what is meant by this top down. Okay, so here, oh, so before that I have to write a path also. First one is what, path. So first one, where I have to go and from where I have to pick up the all the contents of the subdirectories, means I have to give that path here. After that we are having some arguments we are having here. So first one is what, path, from where. Okay, that means address, or we can say it as a path. Okay, next we have written what, top down. Top down is nothing but generally it is a optional argument. Top 2 can be true, or it cannot be specified. Okay, that means here if you are going to give this top down equal to true, or if you are not going to give, there is no problem. But here if you are going to give it as a true, then it is going to scan from top to bottom. Okay, next if you are going to give top down as a false, then what happens? Directories are scanned from bottom up. So don't worry, I will keep once true and later I will keep once false, so that we can see the difference between top down equal to true and top down equal to false. Okay, next one is on error. Okay, here what I am doing, on error equal to what I am writing here, none. So this can show the error to continue with this walk. When we are going to get the error, that means it is going to raise the exception. That means whenever there is a problem in extracting the contents of any subfolder, then we are going to get an error. So we are going to use on error. Next, follow links. Follow links is nothing but follow links. It is nothing but what? It is going to visit directories point to by system links. Okay, that is the concept of if it is set to true. If it is not set to true, we are now by default it is going to be false. So now just I want to write a small program to demonstrate this one, so that I will take one file here, sorry, one directory here. The directory name is what? RAM. I am going to take. I want to get all the contents of this RAM. So just I want to change the current directory. So if I execute this program, current directory will become desktop, because sample.py is belonging to our desktop. Okay, right. So now I'm going to import what? Import OS module. From this OS module, what I require? I require a function called as walk. I want to get all the things from the walk. So one point we have to understand is walk function is going to return 3 values. So those values are nothing but, just I will write here, for directory path I am going to get directory path, comma, directory names. Okay, we are going to get directory names, and we are going to get file names also. So 3 tuples it is going to return. Okay, in os.walk. Whenever we are going to write this function, from where? From RAM. Okay, observe carefully. It has to walk through which directory? RAM. That means it will go to RAM, and inside that if there is any subfolders, it will go to those subfolders. Inside that if there is any other subfolders, it will go to those folders, those directories also, and it will take the content and it's going to return what? This walk is going to return three types. Okay, one is file names, directory names, and directory path. Here you can write anything, no problem. To indicate it is going to return 3. That is one file name, another one is directory names, another one is directory path. I have written the same names here. Okay, you can write any names there. Now see, I want to print current directory path. So just I want to write current directory path. Okay, so that where it is going to store? Inside a dir path. First it is going to return what? 3 arguments it is going to return. First one is what? dir path. It's going to return first argument as dir path. First returning what? dir path. So dir path, it's going to give what? Directory path. Next one, I want the directory names. So print of just where directory names are going to be stored in dir names. Okay, directory names. So here we are going to from where we are going to get these values? In directory names it is there. After that, print of, here we are having what? Files. In third one, in this what we are having? File names. So file names is present inside a file names. So file names I am going to write. So now for every, just I will print here empty print. So now I will execute this program, so that by seeing the output, just I will go see here. I will go to that particular RAM directory and show you why this output is printed. So this is what? RAM directory. Okay, observe carefully here. This is what? RAM directory. Inside that RAM directory, which directory I'm going to take? PyCatchy. The first one is selected as what? PyCatchy. Okay, next, that means first it is going to take what? Path. What is the path? It is going to take RAM as a path. Next, in RAM, what we are having? All these are there. So what are the subdirectories we are having? PyCatchy and RAM. So PyCatchy and RAM are printed as directory names. Inside that, what are the files we are having? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many files are going to printed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Observe that walk function is going to return 3 tuples. That is what 3. It is going to return 3 values. One is what? One is going to return a directory name. Next one is going to return what? Subdirectory names. Next it is going to return what? File names. Next one. So now it is returning these values. Next, after that, what I have to go? I have to go to one of the folder here. Okay, that means I will go to this folder now. Okay, now in RAM, what is there? PyCatch is there. So now the current directory is what? RAM. Inside that RAM, I am going to one more RAM. Okay, now inside this, what are the subfolders we are having? PyCatch and RAM sub. So PyCatch and RAM sub is printed. Inside that, how many files are there? Only one file is there, so that we are getting this file name. After that, in this again, it is going for what? RAM sub. So in RAM sub, how many folders, subfolders are there? PyCatchy. So PyCatchy is printed. After that, file is printed. So after that, inside this PyCatchy, what is there? Only one file. So no directories are there, so that we are going to get empty here, empty list. So always it is going to return list of values. It may be file names, it may be directory names, it may be, okay, path will be generally only one. Okay, in this way, it is going to give me path. So it's going to print the files. After that, here, is there any subfolder? It is not there. So it will go back here. Okay. After that, it will go to where it is completed. Entire thing is completed. Now it will go to this PyCatchy. So RAM PyCatchy. So RAM PyCatchy I am going. In this, which files are there? Only one file. That file is going to print it. So this is completed. So here RAM sub is completed. Again, it will go back. Here, what is there? PyCatchy is there. So it will go to that PyCatchy. And in PyCatchy, is there any directories? There is no directories. So directory names are nothing. It is printed here. So what is the file we are having? Only m1.cpython. So that is going to be printed here. That is, walk is used to print all the content of a directory. That is, it will go into a directory, and if there are any files, it will print. If there are any subdirectories, it will go into that subdirectories. Inside that subdirectory, if there are two more subdirectories, then first it will go to one subdirectory until the file reaches until the last point. After completing all the files it is going to print, next it will come back and it will go to another subfolder or another subdirectory. In this way, we are going to get the contents of subfolder subdirectories also. Okay. So these are the some of the functions we can apply on our directories. Now in OS module only one important function is there that is very important. So let us see that function now. The name of that function is system function. Okay, the name of that function is system. Where it is present? It is present inside a OS module. So in OS module we are having what? System function. Why this particular system function is used? Generally, observe one. I'm going to execute some statements here. Okay, so I will go to my current working directory, that is nothing but desktop. So here I want to open a notepad. What I'm going to justify, okay, sorry, 1 minute. If I want to execute any statement here, okay, so see here, I want to open one for that is nothing but I want to open this Shiva file, or otherwise I want to open this sample.py. Okay, so that if I how to open that one from the command prompt, just to type sample.py. Now observe what happens. It is opened here. That means I am going to give some command so that your system is going to execute that. Okay, right. Now this same command I will write inside a system function. Okay, before that I will show you one more concept, that is dir. I am having dir. Dir also we can execute on this one, that is nothing but dir space star.py. Okay, what we are going to get, whatever the py files we are going to have, it is going to print. The details of the files are going to be printed. In my current working directory, how many py files are there? Only one sample.py is there, so that is going to be printed here. Sample.py, it is going to print the details of that particular sample.py also, on time and date when I'm executing that particular file, it is going to show me. Next, if I want to execute a Python file, generally how I'll execute? py space sample.py. Okay, in this way I'm going to execute my Python space sample.py. So here what happens? The command is going to be executed by your system. So that means what? You are going to give some command to your system from this command prompt. Same thing I can do from my, what we can say, system module. Sorry, OS module. We are having what? System function. Just I will show you that case now. So I want to import. I have to import what? Import OS here. Next I want to show you what? OS dot system of, I want to open ram.txt or some shiva.txt I want to open. See, observe here, shiva.txt. Now what happens? Shiva.txt is going to be opened. Observe here. Okay, see, shiva.txt is opened. That means if I want to perform anything, I can do by using a, that means whatever the commands you are going to execute on the command prompt, that can be executed by using a function called as system in our Python, which is present inside a module called as OS module. Okay, right. Next, one more very important function is there, that is stat function. Okay, this is very important because it is going to give in detail, that means everything, every status about the file, whatever we are going to provide to that. What is that? Let us see. Here we are going to get different properties we are going to get. We have to observe carefully this one. Here, to get the status of any file, we are going to use a function called as stat. So we can call it as statistics also, but it is not a correct word. So if I am going to write, it will give me what? Status. So what is meant by status of any file? So status of any file is nothing but so who is the owner of that one, who is owner, and what is the size of that particular file, and what is the recent access time, and when it is updated time, and when the metadata is going to be changed that time. So each and every status we are going to get by using this stat. That means nearly 10 to 10 or 11 we are going to get different fields we are going to get. Okay, let us see what is meant by stat, how it is going to be executed. So it is present in OS module. It is going to give statistics, it's going to give status of our file, whatever the file I am going to provide. Observe carefully here. So I want to talk about this Shiva. So just I have to type what? So why this particular stat is going to be used? If you want to get the status of a file, status of file is nothing but what is the size, when last access time, last modified time, and other things. So internally, what is meant by inode, for every processor we are going to have some number. Okay, in that way we are the status is going to be given by using this stat function. So see, stat of, that means status of, I want to give what? I want to give ram.txt. Okay, that is what? Shiva.txt, sorry. So shiva.txt. Observe now carefully. It is going to give me what? First one, result. It is going to give me OS dot stat underscore result. That means the status of mode. It is having what? It is going to be mode. It is nothing but protection bits. Internally, it can understand. We don't know about as a Python program. It is not required to know about all these things. But just I will show you these things. I number, like inode number. Otherwise, we can say it as a process number. Okay. So this is what device, st underscore device. N-link. This is N-link is nothing but number of hard links. So UID. So if you are going to consider this ID, user ID of the owner. Okay. Next GID we are having here. Generally groups will be there. Okay. Processors are going to be grouped. So for the group ID is what? 0. And here we are having st underscore size. That is nothing but size of file in bytes. Okay. After that we are having what? St underscore a time. Okay. Here what? A time is nothing but what? Recent access it is. Next st underscore m time is there. It is what? Most recently. Okay. Most recently access time. Okay. Next one. This is what? Access time. This is most recently access time. Next c time is nothing but most recently metadata change time. Okay. Metadata is nothing but what? Name or size of the file. All this will come under a metadata. Metadata is nothing but what? uh, Data about the data. Okay, is called as the metadata. So now this is the concept. So it is not necessary to know all these things. Just I want to show highlight something that about this one. So sir, you are telling these three as a time. This is some access time, recent access time, and it is a metadata change time. So what is it a time? You may doubt, you may get that doubt that is it a time? Yes, it is a time, but it is not in the form of hours, minutes, and seconds. But how it is? It is totally a group of seconds. Okay, it is a seconds, group of seconds. So if I want to convert this one into a minutes, sorry, if you want to convert it into a our own time, where we can see what we can see hours, we can see minutes, and we can see seconds. If you want to convert that, from where we are going to, where is the starting point for this time? So we are having some standard epoch notation we are having, that is from January. See here, from January 1st 1970. From here the time is going to be considered from January 1st 1970. Now today date is what? 11/5. That is nothing but November 5th 2020. How many seconds are there? Because we have access just now. So 1604 322 322 367, these many seconds, because I have modified RAM just now only. Okay, these many seconds are there. So in the form of seconds, from the starting point, it is going to tell us the time in this way, in the form of seconds. It is not a milliseconds, it is a seconds. So if you're okay, time also, I have to specify time also, 12 a.m. From this time till whatever the time you want to get, in the form of seconds we are going to get. Just to show you that one, I am going to write a small program to show the time. That means if I want to convert this time, the seconds, into this November 5th 2020, just I will write the same program inside a file, so that we will get a clarity on this one. Same program I will write here. I want to take what I want to access. I want to access the time also. So I have to import date time module. I am having a module called as date time. From the date time I want to import all the class methods, okay, all the functions. Okay, so sorry, import data, otherwise I will write from date type, not import date type. So from date type import all. So here what I'm going to take, I want to get the status, so that stats equal to, or status equal to, we can write what, os dot stat of, which file we are having here, shiva.txt. Write down here, shiva.txt we are having here. So on that file, we have to get the status of that particular file. From that, I don't want to take everything. I want only the size and time. Okay, I want to take only size and time. So for that, I am going to print just here size. So size, so how many we are having here? Many things are there here. So from that, I want to take only size. Where size is, this is the size. Okay, st underscore size is there. st underscore size, in where it is storing status. So in status, what you want to get? Status dot, in that what we want to get? We want to get only size. st underscore size, we will get only size. Now I want to get only a date. So I want to get a clear date. For getting a date, okay, access date, last access date, not modified date, access date, access date. So if you want to get in the form of seconds, I can go to the, no need of writing any conversions, but I want what? I want to get the seconds in the form of, date, clear date and time. So from timestamp, what I have to take? From timestamp of, from where the seconds are present in where? Stats. So sorry, status dot st underscore a time. Okay, so now if you want to see same program for recently modified also, you can write it, there is no problem. So that is nothing but what, here you can observe. So see, now I'm writing only st underscore a time. If you want to write st underscore m time, st underscore c time also, there is no problem. Just I will copy this one and I will paste here st time, so that we can also print what, M time. After that, we can also print, just I will remove this one. Okay. Now see, I can also print C time. Okay. So I will remove this one just to print the date here, date and time. Now observe here. So no module date time. 1 minute. Data time here we have written, sorry. Date time. Okay. Now observe. Oh, name. Okay. Sorry. Here I have to write what? Import all date time dot. Okay. Date time dot. Here from timestamp is from date time. Okay. Now observe. So what is the answer we got? See, this is access date 2nd November. Okay. It is last modified date. That is what its creation date. It is last modified at 4th. Okay, and metadata change time is what? 2nd. So clearly it is telling me what? 1836 7. Some seconds also it is going to show me. It is going to show me seconds, and also milliseconds also it is going to show me. Okay. So this is the concept of what? How to convert the seconds. So you have to understand why it is going to print the seconds. So from the seconds are starting from which location? The seconds are starting from, these are seconds, not milliseconds. Observe carefully. From 1970 January 1st 12 a.m. So it is some epoch time. We will call it as epoch time. So like Java, Python. So from that particular point only we are starting this time counting. So that from this point till not November 5th, it has given time from where up to 2. Okay, 211. It is giving me what? 16040 some seconds. So M time is what? From up to 411. Okay, 411 we are getting these many seconds. Okay, next this is what? Access time. Okay, so it is giving me 211. So see, this is less than this one, this is less than this one, because date is what? You can observe the dates. Okay, so in this way we are having the date concept in our Python. Okay, now we are going to see an important concept called as pickling and unpickling. Very important concept. Okay, so before going to see this concept, we have to understand the concept of classes. Before going to see the concept of pickling and unpickling, we have to see the concept of class, because till now I have not discussed any concept of object oriented programming. So briefly I will explain once, and I will go to the concept of pickling and unpickling. What is the need of discussing about object oriented programming here without completing that concept? Means, because here we are talking about files. So whenever we are talking about particular concept, if we complete everything about that concept, it is better. So here, what is meant by pickling and unpickling? Pickling and unpickling. Okay, here if you know about the Java, this can be considered as serialization. Serialization. This can be called as deserialization. Okay, right. So what is, when if you don't know about Java, there is no problem. Serialization or deserialization is nothing but, if you want to store the content, the object, otherwise that, like I can say, if you want to store the data of an object or the state, if it is not better to call data, let us take state of an object to the file, to the file. State of the file is nothing but what? Whatever the data it is having at that particular instance, it is going to be stored in a file. That means what? From object to file. Next, what is meant by deserialization? File to object. That means whatever the state it is present inside a file, from that I want to get it back to our object. So it is called as what? Unpickling, or we can call it as what? Deserialization. Now observe here. This is one object, for example. Here I am having some roll number, age, name of a student, for example. Here 10, here age is 25, and name is Shiva, for example. This is one object called as A. So now this state I want to store into a file. This is a file. Okay. So how we can store here? So everything will be stored here. R equal to 10, next one A equal to 25, N equal to Shiva in some format like .dat. I will show you this format also. So now if I want to get back this state to my object, then what I have to use? This is called as what? Pickling. This is called as pickling. Getting back the status is called, getting back the data to the an object is called as what? Unpickling. Okay, I will show you the clear example. This is what? Object. This is what? File. Okay, this is file. So storing the state of a particular object into a file, or we can call as what? Writing the state of an object to a file, or saving the object content to a file is called as what? Pickling. What is meant by unpickling? From file to object. That means whatever the state we have stored in the file, if we want to get back to the object, we are going for the concept of unpickling. The process is called as unpickling. So here, to perform this pickling and unpickling concept, some of the classes and modules, some of the classes and functions are available in pickle. Okay, that is what? Pickle module we are having. Okay, what is the module name? Pickle module. So we have to use this module mainly for the concept of pickling and unpickling. We are going to use two methods. One is dump method, another one is load method. So in dump method mainly we are having two things, that is what? Object and file. And load method, here we are having only file reference. There is nothing but, so from which object to which file I have to store. From a object I have to store to some file. Okay, in this way I have to write. So load file means just here I can write some file reference. So it's going to load that state to our object again. Okay, so this is the concept of pickling and unpickling. Now here, before going to this concept, just I want to tell you about a class concept here. Just I will take a small class and I will explain. So class student is there. Okay, so class student, here I am going to write some constructor def underscore underscore init. So we will discuss all these concepts in detail there. So here I will write self. So for student, what we are going to have? Student name or student roll number we are having. Next one, student name we are having. Next, student address we are having. These three fields I am going to take. For every student, these three will be there. So whatever the details student is going to pass, the object is going to be stored. For that, self dot student roll number. Next, in the same way, self dot s name and self dot s address. These three I am going to take. So see, in this way we are having, observe carefully. I am going to create object. 1 minute. So here, if you observe the case here, this is which type? Student type. If I want to create a student object, so how I have to create? Student equal to student of how many parameters we are having? 3 parameters we are having. So for those 3 parameters, I am going to pass roll number as 10, name as Shiva, and next address as some Hyderabad. So now observe what? This is an object. In S, what we are having? S is created with some space. So these 3 parameters will be passed to S roll number, S name, and S address. Now inside is what I'm going to do. I am going to place in this object. Self means what? Who is calling this constructor? So while creating S, we are coming to this constructor. So whatever the value we are passing, self dot S roll means in this it is going to create S roll. Self dot S name, in this it is going to create S name. In this it is going to create S address. Equal to what I have to pass? I want to keep 10 here. So S roll, S name, yes add. Okay, that means what? This is what? It will become 10. It will become what is that? Shiva. It will become Hyderabad. This is the concept. So if I'm going to create second object S1 for example, so student some 20 comma Ram comma Vijayawada for example. So if it is the case, next what happens? S1 will be created. In this same, these 3 values will be passed to S roll number, S name, and S address. Reason is what? This is which type of class? Student class. So whenever student object is created, if there is any constructor to be executed in that class, it will be executed. So here also what happens? S roll, S name, and S address is going to be created. And what are the values that are going to be passed? 20. Next one is what? Ram and Vijayawada. In this way, it is going to create. If I want to get this value where it is present inside a S, that is nothing but S dot S roll. What is the output we are going to get? 10. In the same way here, S1 dot S name equal to what? It is what? Ram. So here we are going to get Ram. So now if you understand this concept, we can go for our pickling and unpickling concept. Just what I'm going to do, I am going to create one class and constructor. I'm going to create an object and I'm initializing the values. And after that, I want to save this state to the file. Okay, that is the concept why I am creating the object. I require an object. Right now, just I will write a program where we are going to have pickling and unpickling. Okay, right. So 1 minute. Here I have written what? Two functions I have written. One is what? Dump function, and another one is what? Load function. Dump is for, observe carefully, dump is for pickling. Okay, load is for unpickling. So first I want to perform the pickling. Reason is what? First I want to save the state of the object to a file, and later I want to get back the details of that file to my object. Okay, so first which module I have to take? Import pickle. Okay, I have to take import pickle. I want to take a class name student. Okay, student, I'm going to take it. Next, just I want to keep a constructor, define underscore underscore init underscore underscore. In this I want to pass three parameters. For example, self comma student roll number or student number I will write. After that I will write student name and student address, for example. Okay, in this what I have to do, I am going to initialize those values. Self dot s number, student number or student roll number equal to s number. Whatever the value I have to I am passing here, that will be saved in this one. Next, self dot s name equal to s name. Okay, after that self dot saddr equal to, I'm going to place what? saddr. This is the concept. These are the values I'm going to create for that particular class or an object. Now just I want to create one method. So whatever the function if you are going to write inside a class, that is called as a method. So display I'm going to write here, just I'm going to write self. Okay, after that just I want to print self. Means what? Self indicates that particular object, whatever the object that calls this particular display, it is going to act as a self. The same concept in our Java is nothing but this keyword. Okay, here what I want to print? Self dot s number. That means what? S number will be printed. After that I want to print some tab space. Okay, I want to print some tab space. After that I want to print self dot s name. S name I want to print. After I want to give some tab space. Okay, tab space I have to give. Next, self dot I want to print what is address, addr. I want to print all these things. Okay, when I call display. Now observe, this is the class I have written. Now what I want to perform? I want to create an object and I want to store the object state into our file. So observe carefully now. So I require a file, so that I am going for with statement, with open of. Okay, which file I want to open? For example, I want to write some data. So I want to write some data into where? Into some file, sorry, into some file called as, whose data? It is student data. stu dot student dot data file. Okay, comma. First what I have to do, I want to write something. Okay, write. Okay, right. It is what? Binary data. Okay, so wb, as I want to access it with f. Right, completed. Now see, very important, I am creating an object. Which object? Student object. S equal to student of, I am passing three values. Those are nothing but what? His roll number. Next one is what? His name. Okay, and I want to pass his address. Let us consider HYD. So I have created one object and I have passed the values to this S. So when I'm going to create this object, what happens? this is going to call this constructor, and finally S object is created. Inside this S object we are having what? S number, S name, and S ADDR will be there, and values are what? 10, Shiva and Hyderabad will be placed, and display method is also available for this S object. This is the concept. Now what I want to do, this is the concept after executing this statement. That means inside S what we are having, see, just I will write here so that you will get a clarity on this one. So object will be created, yes, after executing this one. So inside this one what we are having, S number equal to 10, S name equal to some Shiva, and yes, address equal to Hyderabad, it will be there. In this way it is going to be there. Okay. Now after this statement, now what I am going to do, I want to save this state to my file. Which file? stu.dat. It is present, it can be accessed by whom? F. So I am going to write what? pickle.dump. Dump is a file which is going to store our object state into file. So pickle.dump. What I want to dump? I want to dump, yes, to where? Into a file called as stu.dat. It is pointing by whom? F. So I have to write in this way. What I want to dump? An object called as yes. To where I want to dump? Into a stu.dat, which is pointing by F. Okay, right. Now my process is completed. Okay, after pickling, just I want to print what? Pickling is done. Okay, pickling, 1 minute, pickling is completed. Just I want to intimate. So pickling is completed. Now I want to unpickle it. Okay, that means what? I have stored it in a DAT, and after that I want to print that. So first I will execute this program, later I will unpickle it. Okay, I want to save this one. Observe here, is there any file called as stu.dat? Not there. So I will execute this one. So something has went wrong here. That is what in line 10 and line 6. Let us see here. Sorry, here self it is. Okay. So now see, pickling is completed. Nothing I have done. I have done a pickling concept. See here, stu.dat is created. If you open this one, you cannot understand the language of this one. Reason is what? It is in the form of some other language. So if you try to open this one, open with, let us try with, open with, and see here, I will open with some other notepad. So see, it is in some other language. So some values we can understand. Okay. So some values we cannot understand. Anyway, I don't want that one. Just I have saved the state of that particular object. Already in that object, what are having, you know that. Now I want to get back them. Okay, what I want to do? I want to get back the data to my function, no, to my program, to my object. So with open, same thing. From where I want to get back? From std dat, as if I will let same thing. Entire thing will be same. So here same thing, but what I want to do, I want to read. I want to do what? I want to read. So that I'm going to write what? Read. RB. I want to read that binary data. Now observe carefully. Here I want to read that particular data to where? Object. So which object? For example, obj object. Obj equal to what I want to do? I want to load that one. Pickle dot load. From where I want to load? I want to load from this file. This file is pointing by whom? F. So F I am going to write here. So now what happens? Loading the data from F, that is nothing but stu.dat, and it is placing in obj. So let us see whether there is any content that is present in obj or not. For that, just I will call obj.display. So in display, observe that what happens, what we are having in display. In display we are having, see, it will print all these things. Self means what here? Obj.display. It will go to here. Self means obj now. Obj.s number. So already those contents are stored in obj now. So s number will be printed, s name will be printed, and s address will be printed. So this is the concept. So now observe carefully. So see, first in this pickling is completed. First the data is stored in file. After that I have retrieved the data by using a load function. Otherwise, let us remove this one because already file is available. Okay, already file is available, so that I am executing only unpickling. So directly we are going to do what? Unpickling we are going to get. If you are having already that file, directly we can get the data from that particular file. So this is about pickling and unpickling. So if you want to write the particular, for example, same concept I will do. Okay, see, same concept, but I don't want to write this content here. Observe carefully. I don't want to write this content here. I want to write this one in a separate file. Okay, this is what student. I want to save this one as a student. So I am going to write what here, save as. I want to save it as what? Student. student student dot py. Okay, so I am saving this one. Okay, so now I want to write remaining concept. Remaining concept is nothing but what? I want to perform. Till now I have shown you only with one employee. Now I want to write the data of multiple employees. Okay, so that I have written separately this file. Now from sample, I will open that. Otherwise, I will write in a new file. So here what I'm going to write? I'm going to write other code that I want to import that class here because I want to use this class here. This class I want to use in my program. So that what I have to write? I have to import that one where this is present inside a student.py. So in my program, I have to import that one so that I have to write import student. And also I want to import what? Pickle for performing the pickling and unpickling. So I want to perform what? F equal to open of employee data. Already some I will write some data. Same data I'm going to give. Otherwise here whatever the data we are taking student. So already stu is there. Here I'm going to do what? stu1.dat. I'm going to create one file called as stu1.dat. For which purpose I am going to create it? For writing purpose we are going to do here. Okay, so now what I want to read, in previous example what I have taken, only one object I have created and I have passed that data to the text file. Now what I am going to do, I am going to create any number of, that means what I am asking user to enter how many number of student details you want. So that here I want to write what? Input of enter number of students. How many number of students, how many number of students data you want to enter? I am asking enter number of students. Okay, so that he is going to, the user is going to enter 2 or 3 or anything. So those students data is going to be taken into my file, and from file if you want to read, what we have to do, we have to perform unpickling. So now see, the for that I am going to write what? For I in range of n. Observe carefully, for every student I am going to take the data individually. That is what? Print of what I want. Sorry, 1 minute. E number, sorry, s number equal to, so s number what I want to take, I want to ask the user int of, so as it is a number, int of input of, I will write what? Enter number, enter s number. Okay, completed. So user can understand, he will enter. After that I want to write what? S name. Okay, s name, I am going to take s name. So here it is, I want to store it in a s name. After that I want to write what? S address. So yes, add address. Okay, here I am going to write in where? S addr. Okay, so these are the values. So whatever the user want to enter, it is there, it is going to be entered here. After entering, where I want to store it? Inside a file. So now what I am doing, some s equal to, so what is the class name we are having? In student I am having a class called as student. In student module I am having a class called as student. Now you can observe that one here. So see here, in student, this is a student. Here you can observe it is a student. Inside the student I'm having a class called as student. So I want to create the object of that type, so I'm writing here in this way. Right now student dot student, I want to pass how many values? 3 values. So what it can take here in student, observe here, it can take 3: s number, s name, and s address. So here I can pass what? S number comma s name comma, these names can be anything, there is no problem. Okay, right. So first object is going to be, the values are going to be entered. It is going to be entered, sorry, saved in a s. and I want to dump this one into a file. Okay, for that what I have to do? Pickle dot dump, where I have to dump inside a file. What is the file name here? stu.dat, which is pointing by f. So I have to dump s to f. So observe carefully here what happens if I am going to enter 2 here. So this loop is going to be continued for 2. That is the first time. First data is going to be entered and pushed into your file. Next time, second time I'm entering the data, second object data is going to be stored in S and it is dumped into a file. That means how many objects are saved in my file? 2. That is nothing but how many student data I have saved here? 2. Now observe carefully. I want to save this file as a, let us consider info.py for example. Okay, I am saving this one. Observe carefully now. I am executing this program. There is no stu.1 here. Okay. Now when I execute this one, what happens? It is going to be created. So first I have to execute that one. So this one I have to execute. So I will execute this one. So no errors, nothing is there. Now I want to execute this one. There's no info. Now see here, it is asking me enter number of students. I want to enter the students as 3. Okay. After that, pickling is completed. It is telling 1 minute. We have written somewhere mistake. So here enter the number of students. Whenever you are going to enter the number of students, it is going to be stored in a value called as n. After that, we have to take some values. For that, I have to take what? I have to enter it to this one. 1 minute. So n for I in range of n. Okay. Once again, I will execute. See here. Okay, now see, enter number of students. 3 I am going to enter. So it is asking what? Enter S number. So S number is 1, student 1. Name is Shiva. Enter. Sorry, double time I have pressed. Sorry for that. So what happens? 3 students. Roll number 1, Shiva. Enter. Oh, it is going to take, everything is converted into int. Sorry for that. Here what I have to do? It is not a int. It is name is what? Name has to be S name. That is what integer string only. Address is also string only. Just I will take input of. Right. Now see. So 3 I am going to take. 1 I am going to take Shiva. I am going to take Hyderabad. First student details is completed. Next again it is asking S name. That is what second student details. Second to Ram. His is Vijayawada for example. Right, completed. Third one is Raju for example. So again it is taking what here. Sorry, in S number I have entered wrongly. 1 minute. So 3. So student number 1, Shiva. S address is Hyderabad. Next S number it is asking 2. S name it is asking. S name is for example Ram I am going to take. S address is Vijayawada. Okay. Next S number 3. S name it is asking Prasad I am going to enter. After that it is asking S address. I am going to give some Hyderabad. Okay. Now completed. Everything is completed. I don't know what happens, but see, after completing this one here, what happens? stu1.dat is created. That is all the objects data. It is going to be stored in where? It is stored in a stu1.dat. Now observe, I want to take that data. I want to pick that data. That is nothing but what? I want to load that data into my file. That means same code already I have written. I have completed this one. So I can write the code in the same file or I can go to next file also. There is no problem. So now what I have to do? Import. What I have pick, I have to write same thing. Student class, student comma pickle. Same thing I have to write. Now here what I want to do? I want to open a file called as open f equal to open of which file I want to open? stu1. Okay, stu1.dat for what? For reading purpose. Whatever the data in that, I want to read that to my program. So read binary. Okay, so read binary is completed. Now just I want to print a message that student details. So I have to write student details. For example, I am going to write student details. So if we want to print individually, we can write what? Pickle dot load off. First time it is going to load first object. Just I will show you that one. So object one equal to pickle dot, observe carefully this one, load off from where? F. So first time it is going to load what? First object. So if I write 3 times, how many objects I have inserted there? 3 times. So 3 times I will write here. So this is what? Object 3. This is what? Object 2. This is what? Object 1. Okay. After that you can print what? obj1, obj2, obj3. Now observe carefully. Just I will store it as what? Unpickling. Unpickling dot py, for example. Now say I'm executing this program. Nothing ran out of input. Okay. That is what? obj1 equal to pickle dot load of f we are going to take. Okay. 1 minute. Let us see here. End of file error. Line 4. Here we are going to get what? Obj dot so it is printing student details. Pickle dot load of f sobj1 ran out of input. 1 minute. Okay, let us try in another way. Okay, anyway we will get the data because we are going to read from that. I will write directly. See here, we are getting which error here? End of file error. Okay. I don't know why it is getting, for example. So what I have to do, I have to handle that one. For that, I will go to another case. That is what I will go to while loop. While true. That means what? How many objects are there? Those many objects can be taken here. So try block I am going to write. In this try block, I want to pick one object every time. Obj equal to pickle dot load of f. Okay, pickle dot load of f I am going to take here. Okay, now I have taken it. I want to apply what? Display. So obj dot display. So obj already we know about obj dot display. Yes. Now just I want to print a separate line for each and every object. Next, if there is any error, I will go to except block. Which type of error we are going to get? End of file error. Okay. So end of file we are going to get. So for that I am going to write all employees completed. Just I want to print all, because what? It is go on picking the data from your objects. Go on picking. So if there are only 2 object data is there, if we try to pick third one, what happens here? End of file error is going to be generated. So that here if I am going to write something, it is going in except block. Just I want to inform that all employees, not employees, students here, all students data is completed. For example, I have written here. So after this I want to break. My program is completed. Now observe, let us try with this one. So see, student details, all student data is completed. So it is going to do what here? It is going to take, it has to take the data, but here it is not printing the data. Reason is what? Here I am writing obj.display. So other than this one, because obj.display, it has to execute, but it is not executing here. Just I will take what? Printing. I am going to write just to print off. I will see what obj contains so that we can understand it. So what obj print of obj is not going to print anything. So 1 minute, student details is going to print. There is no problem up to here. It will come to here. Pickle dot load of f. So let us see here student one dot data. So before this, let us execute once again this program, info program. So let us execute and store the data once again. 3 I am going to enter. 1 S name Shiva, address Hyderabad. S number 2 Ram I am taking, same Hyderabad I am taking. S number 3 I am taking Chenna, here name as Chenna I am going to take. Okay, after that we are going to take Hyderabad. Okay, now data is stored in our stu.1. Now I will execute. This program is completed. Now I will go to unpickling. Here what I have done, import student. Okay, I have for student I have included. Reason is what, I want to use this object. Okay, student comma pickle I have taken. So f equal to open name of that particular file I have taken. After that reading I have taken, because I have to read from the file. Student it is while true. Here it has to take what, try. For every object we have to load from f obj dot display. So it has to go to obj dot display, right? Now let us try it. So it is not executing. 1 minute. Just I will copy that code here also, because this data here, just I will write this data here itself. Same code I will write here. 1 minute. So unpickling I will write. So before this one I will write this code. Okay, and I will execute. So enter number of students. Just I will enter 2 students. 1 Shiva, address Hyderabad. Next 2 I am going to take. S name Ram I am taking. Hyderabad I am going to take. Yes, see here. We got everything correctly. So what happens, reason what happens, I have taken 2 separate files so that this is not going to be executed correctly. So now if I take in same file, we got what? Here what, individual I have entered, any number of students you can enter here. Okay. So any number of student data you can enter here. After that I am going to retrieve the data for every student. If you write 100 students also, first I am going to create 100 objects here, and I am going to store the state of 100 objects into a file. After that I'm going to do what, unpickling is going to be done here. Clearly I have written. So this is for what, this is for pickling, this is for what, unpickling. In before example what we have done, there I have taken only one object, and I'm going to one object is created, and I have stored in a file called as stu dot date data. So now what I'm doing, I'm going to write for n number of students. You can take any number of students here. So this is the concept of pickling and unpickling. So in next session, we are going for the concept of object oriented programming concepts. Thank you.